Hi YouTube, this is Sasha and Alicia with Chat Tea. Hey guys.
Join us as we're two best friends living in two different states and we chat all things reality, married life, singles life. I'm sorry y'all, I'm distracted. We have the same shirt on today. Didn't even plan it. That is two friends.
Best
okay?
friends,
That
we think
is
alike.
two friends.
We think alike.
We didn't even plan it. I literally grabbed the first shirt I could find. He was busy doing stuff with the kids, and here we are.
Same here. I put the baby down and rushed over to do this video for y'all. Okay, well, we are here. We got together. We're here. We are going to discuss episode 3 of Darcy and Stacey. This one is called Meltdown in Middleton. So, give you a little bit of a clue of what it is. I mean, I feel like every episode is Meltdown.
That's probably what the series should have been called.
Pretty much, yeah.
Probably what the series should have been called.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so let's get into it. So we start off, first thing I notice is that on the recap, which I usually don't watch, but for some reason I was sitting down, nothing was distracting me, and I actually was watching it. I did not catch last week that they said Darcy's new man, Georgie, that she's, real hot and heavy with, is a massage therapist. So
yes.
I didn't catch that was his job because my first thought was like, are you kidding me? Darcy, she's really going to be okay with her man having his hands on other women's bodies all day long for a career.
She's going to make him switch up the clientele.
Yeah, men only. But yeah, so that was the first thing that I noticed. Before we even started, I was like, damn, how did I miss that from last episode?
Yeah.
So I missed that. So it looks like we jumped directly into where we left off from the last episode. We jumped directly into Darcy crying over her sister and Tom meeting up behind her back, essentially, and her not knowing about it. And she feels super betrayed from her sister and why, would she do that? And then why would she not tell her right away?
Yep.
She also tells us that her dad also said he thought therapy would be good for her too. So apparently everybody thinks therapy would be great for Darcy, and Darcy is not. I
don't think Darcy should have ever stopped therapy if she was ever, because she said she was in it before.
Yeah.
I think everyone could benefit from therapy.
Yeah,
I don't. Got so much inside, and when she's talking this through on the episode, you're like, oh, yeah, honey, go back.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I hate to laugh about it, but it's like, you really do,
She does. Yeah. She needs some help, but I can understand, too, how when other people are saying behind your back, oh, you need therapy, that's definitely not something someone wants to hear. It's different if your friend came to you and was like, hey, I know you're not having a really hard time. Do you think maybe, I've got a great therapist? Do you think maybe it would benefit you to just talk this through with somebody? Yeah. That's different than to hear, oh, the ex says you need therapy, and the other ex says you need therapy, and your dad says you need therapy, and your sister's now agreeing that you need therapy. Yeah.
Especially when it is the exes, right? Because they're going to say whatever. You're always going to be the crazy one. Very rarely do people break up and you're not the crazy one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all my exes were the crazy ones.
Yes, it was not you, Sasha.
Not me at all. No, I am definitely not crazy in any way, shape, or form. No. Happens. Now we bounce back to Florian and Stacey, and they're up in their hotel room, and they're getting ready to go out. They're getting ready to go home. And to have Florian now come and meet the rest of the family. So to meet Stacey's daughters, to meet Daddy, and then to see Darcy again. So, as you can imagine, he's not, crazy excited over this. But it is what it is, and it's something that's got to be done. They're in the car. It doesn't bode well. They're already fighting. Florian is being, a typical backseat driver, which I get it. You're in a new place. You're kind of freaked out by being in the car. I feel like we see this all the time on the 90 Day. Whenever someone goes to another country and they're in the car, they're freaked out by the way their significant other or the person driving, is it's scary, right? You don't know where you are. You're disoriented. You don't know the laws of the streets there. So, you know, they're already fighting. He's already very frustrated with Stacy. It just doesn't seem like it would go very well. But, God, I cannot stand when my husband will be in the car and I'm like driving and all of a sudden he's like freaks out about something and I'm like, I freak out and I want to slam on the brakes because I have no idea what's going on. And then it's because like he lost a Pokemon battle on his phone. And I just want to kill him. I'm like, what are you doing? You're going to make me get into a car accident.
You're like, I thought something was in the middle of the road. I thought there was like a cop. Like, come on, man.
Backseat drivers. keep your Pokemon emotions to yourself, buddy. Okay.
To that. To know with him, he's never engaged. I mean, I feel like half the time when we talk to him, he's just kind of like, yeah, he's busy fighting Pokemon.
Yeah. Yes, he's busy fighting Pokemon. All right, so yeah, backseat drivers, they're the worst. So here's the next big bomb, is that seems like Daddy he's the actual owner of the house that Stacy and Darcy and the kids live in. And he is, even though he's not living there permanently, he's still back there a lot, but he goes to China a lot. He is not okay with Florian staying in the house because Florian and Stacy are not married yet. So even though they've been together all this time, even though it's their 90 days, even though he's moving here, it's not like she just wants some random guy to come and visit. He's actually moving here to get married to her. Daddy doesn't want them in the house when they are unwed. So now they have to find an Airbnb, which they found, and Stacy got it all set up, but they need to spend more money and stay at an Airbnb now in order to be together before they get married. And then I don't know what the plan is, to move in and all be one big happy family. I have no idea. But I hate when I watch these shows and these couples, and these couples, like one of them is moving all the way from another country. It's a huge move. They're leaving everything they know behind. And the parents are like old fashioned and they're hung up on this, you can't stay together until you're married thing. And it's like, look, it already costs tens of thousands of dollars to like apply for the K-1, to do all this paperwork, to get over here, the flights back and forth, all this money. And now we can't stay together. So we're going to have to pay for 2 places. Like, it's just infuriating to me. I mean, I know there's a lot of old fashioned.
This is a little bit of an exception because it's obviously Dad's house. He's paying for it, all the things. So really, is it money out of Stacy's pocket? But still, it's like you've got a perfectly good house down the street. They could be walking to her house for all we know.
Although we don't know if Darcy and Stacey are paying any part of the mortgage. I mean, they didn't. They said it's Dad's house, but they never said like Daddy foots all their bills, and they just do whatever they want.
I think he's the kind of guy that gives them the startup money, and then it's up to them on their own. So they probably are paying rent.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would guess that they're doing something. He seems a little bit on the tough side. He doesn't seem like he is just giving them all the money in the world to live the lifestyle and, you know, just on his dime. I mean, but that's,
I agree.
I don't know. If anybody has any tea on that and knows anything, put it in the comments for us, because I would like to know. I'm nosy and I really would like to know. It's not my business, but I still
look at him. I mean, want to know, what are they making? What is Daddy making?
Yes. Where is their money coming from? What are they doing?
Well, especially now, because did you notice how at the dinner, Dad was mentioning they're talking about COVID? Like, let's just get a little on topic. So Dad is home from China because COVID started at the end of last year in China. Yeah.
Over there.
Really?
Yeah.
So
it's like, it's
kidding. Don't come at
He was the one eating the bat too.
Papa Silva.
So let's see. Now it seems. Okay, so we go back and Stacy and Florian are still, they're driving, and it seems like something happened with the car, and you see that something fell off the car. You're not quite sure, but Florian jumps out and he goes back to the behind the car, and it's the back windshield wiper blade. So the blade somehow came off the car. And I think this car must be a rental, because she's like freaking out and like doesn't know how to turn it off. And Florian's yelling at her to turn it off.
Between the Nissans and the Range Rovers. So
yeah. So was this? I don't know if this was a rental, if this was her car, what it is.
maybe
But
a
she's
part-time
panicking
sponsorship or something, because her and her sister both had one. Anyways.
Yeah. True. Maybe it's something like that. But I mean, but now we get to see like a little bit of Florian's temper come out, and he is pissed.
Yeah.
And he is yelling at her, and he is screaming at her. Don't touch it, and he's yelling at her to knock it off, and she's like, I don't know, I don't know what to touch.
Really
like,
felt for
I don't
her
know
in
what
this
to do. And he's
one,
like,
yeah.
stop.
She even looked really
Me too.
shocked.
Me too.
Like, who is this person? Like, are you kidding me?
But then she says later that he's got like a red hot temper type of thing, and then he admits it too in like part of the confessional part. So apparently it's a normal thing. But she, good for her. She kind of brushes it off. She doesn't. If this had happened to Stacy, I think it would be like the rest of the show would be about like this, him yelling at her and them crying and it being a whole thing.
Yep,
but Stacy is just like, okay, yeah, like we got heated, it got heated. I'm sorry, and they are able to brush right past it. But I mean, that little glimpse of Florian kind of made me think like, oh wow, like that's a little scary. I mean, and he's calling her dumb, and I'd be pissed. But hey, she kept her cool. She glazed over it. Good for her. They talk it out, which is good. I mean, you do see a mature side of the relationship. They sit down, they discuss it, they talk it out, they move forward, and that's it. They're not going to let it ruin the day. Yeah, they move on. Next scene, so we move to Darcy and her girls at dance class. And this is a really cute scene. I love watching the girls. I don't know if I'd want my mom there screaming at me. But the girls are so cute, and the dance class is super fun. But it was cute. It was nice. I like I said in the last few episodes, I like these little clips where we get glimpses into kind of the normalcy of life and the girls and the fun things that they do. It's cute.
I do. I get that. 100%. I agree.
It's cute. Next we go on to family dinner, and everyone is there to meet Florian. So this is the dinner, and poor Florian. I can only imagine the nerves. Things seem to be going well though in the beginning of dinner. Dad and Florian are getting along great. Everyone seems to be talking great. Darcy, definitely notices that her dad and Florian are getting along great, and she, she's not really all that happy about it.
No, she wasn't. I mean, she just sat there and pouted the whole time.
She's upset. Yeah, because it wasn't about her. It was about
and that everybody was getting along with him and laughed, especially the dad. He was really getting along with them.
He was. They were getting along really well. And Darcy, I wish she could just be genuinely happy for her sister, but she is just not feeling it. She's not feeling it. And then I love this. Did you catch this part? So Florian says in the confessional, he says, family is very important. Most of all, meeting the kids and meeting mom and dad,
Darcy.
But not Darcy. And he says it really serious, and I died and had to rewind it because it was so funny.
It was hilarious.
And he's like, you could tell he's just so over her and her drama and her ridiculousness.
Oh my gosh, 100%. He's like, yeah, no, not Darcy. Like so monotone. Again, neutral. He's got a very neutral tone. Yeah.
Yes. So it's funny to see him do these statements because of his neutral tone, like it makes me laugh even more. I just love it. I wish I was good at like copying people's voices. I watch Heather McDonald and Juicy Scoop, and she is so. Do you watch her show at all? She is so good at doing all the impressions and the voices. Like it just makes me laugh like crazy. Funny. But I wish I could do Florian's tone of voice because.
Oh my god.
Anyways, I'm sure you all caught it. If you didn't, go back and watch. It was funny. I enjoyed it. So everyone's getting along. Darcy's not happy, so she excuses herself. She's gonna go to the bar and get a refill on whatever she's drinking.
She said,
and,
"I'm gonna go get a soda."
Like her soda.
And she's Stacy, do you want to come with me? No, I don't think she does.
you better come with me now.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't want me to cut you while you sleep at night, you better come.
Exactly. Like, she was not giving her the option. She was just like, Stacey, come with me.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Like, you better get your butt up and come with me.
Or Stacey, because they're like
they're at the
having
bar.
a good time anyways. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So they go to the bar and they're talking, and Darcy again is saying how hurt her feelings were. And Stacey's trying to explain her side of it, like, I went there to tell him to leave you alone, to knock it off, like, the door is closed, and yes, he said you need to go to therapy, but, like, I'm just telling you what he said. Like, don't shoot the messenger. And Darcy is still like, fine, let's get over it, whatever, but clearly you could tell she's not over it, clearly. But then she's like, well, you said you'd go to therapy with me. And Stacey's like, yeah. And she's like, okay, well, will you? Stacey's like, yeah, okay. Well, I booked a session tomorrow. Stacey's like, you know that it's Florian's only third day here. Like, we just talked about this last night. And Darcy, like, is all butthurt and unhappy that
Darcy will do anything.
Her sister isn't willing to, like, drop everything.
Yeah. She'll do anything to make it about her.
I mean, anything. It's ridiculous. If I wanted you to come with me to something important, I would have talked to you and said, like, hey, you mentioned before you were willing to come with me. I'm thinking about trying to make an appointment this day, or this day. Would any of these work for you? Like, what's your schedule? Would you be able to make it? You do that before you book the appointment, Darcy. Before you book the appointment, okay? You do not book the appointment and then just expect your sister to drop everything when her fiancé just got here and they have 90 days to get married. Like,
at least
that is
let him establish a place to
ridiculous
go while you're in therapy. Like, at least give him a shot to, like, hey, this is the local cafe and you can go there. No, she's either going to have to drop him off in some random place and he's stuck there because he can't get home, or he has to stay in the Airbnb because he's, again, stuck there, can't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Just by himself. I mean, because if she would have planned it, it probably would have been fine. Okay, so next scene, we move on, and Daddy comes to pick up Florian for some one-on-one time to get to know him a little better, but to also grill him about these photos that were found online and figure out, like, what is the deal? What's the deal?
Yep.
So...
I think you should. I like that. I like that protectiveness from the dad,
Me too. And he comes right out and says it pretty quickly. Yep. I mean, obviously we don't know the editing, but it seems like they were there at the park for a very short time, and he comes right out and he says, like, what the F was that all about? Like, he's not bullshitting. So,
which is awesome.
Yeah, which is awesome. Florian doesn't give us much. He kind of, like, glazes over it again. We don't really get any sort of story of what happened, but he just says it wasn't what it looked like. And and it'll never happen again. He assures it'll never happen again. It wasn't what it looked like. So, again, we still don't know exactly who that girl was, what the situation was, what's happening. He's sticking to it. He's not giving us anything.
He is.
So that's so it is what it is. Darcy's now at her first therapy appointment. And so when the therapist opens the door, my first thought, even though she doesn't even look like the same girl, but remember the therapist friend in the movie How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? Like, she's got, like, the glasses, and it's, like, in her home, and the severe pulled back hair.
A little bit, oh my God.
That was my first flash. I just flashed to that scene in that movie, and I don't know why. It makes me laugh.
Happening.
But the therapist seems really great. She gets right into it with Darcy, dives right into it, and Darcy gets emotional talking about Jesse again, and that they had plans, obviously to have a future together, to get married, to have children. She brings up that he wanted a little boy. They also even named the boy Maximus, I think. Yeah, Maximus was the name they chose. So, you can tell she's still really holding on to that hurt of that relationship not working out.
Do you think that's the one that really just made her crazy and really so obsessed with love? Because, like, obviously we didn't know Darcy before then, right? That's when we were introduced to her season 1 with Jesse. Yeah. I think that was one of the first times she probably put herself out there.
Yeah.
And really got hurt.
I think so too. I think she really thought he was the one and like really wanted it with him. And all those plans, and I understand that you make all these plans and then it's just not working, but you don't want to let it go because you can visualize, you visualize this already. You visualized all these plans in this future. And to let it go,
that's why I date them longer than I should, is because they have those things that I like, or they've said the right thing, like a couple of the right things. It doesn't even have to be a lot of things.
Yeah.
They say the right things and you're just like, I love this. Like, I know there's more of this in them.
Yep, exactly. You know it's there, so you hold on for that 5% that you're in love with, and you like, just try to glaze over.
It's hard. We want our 5% to hold on to.
I know. Can you guys just figure out how to be nice to us 95% of the time and only shitty 5% instead of the opposite way? That'd be great.
I mean, at this point, I would do 50-50.
Well, I would have had a lot less boyfriends. So, let's see. With their, okay, so she states, so the therapist is talking to her. She's saying that, she's never leading her kind of on to has she ever been in a relationship where she felt like she was safe? And Darcy kind of thinks about it and is like, no. And so I really do like that this therapist seems to really be getting to, the meat of it and the heart of it of why Stacy is being the way she is and what is going on with these relationships that she's seeking out.
You mean Darcy?
They talk about her dad and her family dynamic. She has a brother. The dad was always traveling. The brother was a big brother, 3 years older, she said, and he kind of took care of the twins and made them feel safe and, fell into that kind of protector role. And then she tells us, the therapist asks, and how's your relationship with your brother now? And Darcy tells us that he ended up dying pretty young at 27 from a rare form of cancer. So it seems like a lot of these, abandonment issues and these things that she has kind of maybe come from how she grew up. Her dad was gone a lot, and then her brother, who was a protector, ended up passing away, at a pretty young age. So she was grown out of the house by them, but still, if that was someone that she really felt...
It doesn't matter when that's your male figure and that's somebody. And even just that, it's that whole... you could live your whole life with your parents, and then they die, and all of a sudden you have abandonment issues.
Yep, yep. And
it seems like that was their vulnerable time, too, where they were just discovering who they were and their, because as we saw in season 1 or in episode 1, they were the unpopular wallflower kids in high school. So their 20s really was their blossoming and, all of that. So it's
sad.
A lot. I mean, we're seeing a different side of her and I like it. And I hope we continue to see that through the season because
I hope so too. I hope she goes back
to
this therapist. Yeah, I hope she goes back to this therapist and gets, because she seems to really be getting at it and getting Darcy to realize these things. She says, because her dad was always being gone, she mentions that Darcy maybe has gotten used to the distance love. That the love is from a distance, it's on the phone, it's not in person because her dad was always gone, and that bigger, love from a distance. And it does make sense because Darcy seems to be really good at maintaining these relationships with these men when they don't live near her and they're not seeing each other. They're on the phone, they're, on short conversations, they're in pictures, they're in texts. But then when they get together in person, Darcy just, I think her insecurities get the better of her and she acts in a way that turns these men off. And then they're just whoa, too much.
Yeah, she doesn't know how to do it with them right there, all the time. She's good at increments. And they did mention that her and her sister have always had a thing for men in other countries.
Yeah.
The foreign men.
Yeah. And with her dad always traveling, I mean, I can see the correlation.
And that's the psychology lesson for the day, folks.
Yep, that's your psychology lesson. I think it was a nice, it gave us a good insight to Darcy. It wasn't super dramatic and juicy.
It was nice to see.
But it was nice to see.
Like you said, the realness. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice to see. So I think that session helped her. I hope it did, and I hope she has more of it. Moving on, we go back to Stacy and Florian, and they are now going to have dinner with a couple of Stacy's friends. So now that the family has grilled him. Now Stacy's friends get their chance to grill him. He is not really excited about this.
I wouldn't be either if I was him.
He doesn't have the excuse of being tired, although I guess it's day 3 or 4. I'm not quite sure what day it is. Maybe he's still a little jet lagged, but he doesn't look real excited to be at this dinner. I don't know if...
Well, and people, let's be honest. Has she let him get a nap yet? That's the real question.
No. We have a lot of to make up for, okay? We got stuff to make. We got time to make up for, okay? You can
things to do.
You can nap when you're dead. Poor Florian. But he does not. He just.
No, I don't think he's thrilled. No.
He looks like he knows where this dinner is going. He knows that everyone is going to be talking about those damn photos, and he just doesn't want to answer the question. I don't know if maybe once this is over, if he'll get to be that guy that is just like fun loving and can chat with anyone and get along with anyone, or if this is just kind of his MO. Like he wants to hang out with Stacy, but he doesn't really want to be like besties with her friends and with her family and everybody. I don't know. I feel like we see this. Do you remember the couple, what is it? Andre, because she was, and Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, I know them.
Okay. So he's like the same. So he's from Moldova or Moldova.
He doesn't want to end. Yeah.
But same
Moldova,
thing. Like he's got that kind of stoic nature about him, and he doesn't want to answer any questions about his past. And I'm noticing a trend with some of these men from the European countries that they don't want to talk about their background. They don't want to talk about their past. They don't want to talk about like what they did before they got here, who they were, what jobs they had. They don't want any of it. Like, I'm here now. We're talking about from me moving here and going forward. Like, you don't need to know anything about me. So,
yep.
It seems I'm feeling that same tension. I mean, Andre. I feel like he's a real dick. And I definitely like Florian more, but I feel like I'm getting that vibe from Florian.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So the friends don't waste much time. They cheers like normal, like, yay, cheers to meeting. Great. Yay. Everything's great. And then they start asking him questions. And these are normal questions. Like, so, how's Albania compared to here? And he says, it's no problem. Okay. Exactly. So how's the time difference on you? You must be jet lagged. Like, how is it? It's no problem.
No problem.
Just like he's not giving them anything. And the poor girls, they're trying. They're really trying. So they pretty much just give up at this point and are like, yep. So what's going on with those pictures? So Florian, he is not a fan of the questions. He does not want to answer it. Mm. They don't.
Do not ask me about my past life. I am here now. I am with this person. Because remember, Big Ed and his girl in the Philippines.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. She didn't want to talk about her son's baby daddy. You're right.
She wouldn't even. You have a son that has a father. And she's like, nope, I don't want to talk about it.
A normal thing to ask.
Yeah, right? But it seems very normal in other countries for them not to answer it.
I guess so. I don't
know. Let us know in the comments. Did you grow up in another country? Are you from another country? If so, where are you from? Let us know.
Are we just nosy ass Americans and we just need to know everything?
We are, but
we are. But I mean, is this a cultural difference? What? Yeah. So
Florian want to talk about their past.
He's not happy. He's not excited where this dinner is going, and really quickly he decides he's over it and he's out. So he exits and storms off, and that's it. Cliffhanger. I mean, we expect this, right? This is how all these shows end. So we'll see. We'll see what happens next episode. They show us some teasers. They show us, a bunch of teasers of Darcy, and she's actually getting to meet with Georgie, and so we're going to get to see a bit of him and Darcy together and how their relationship is going, and then hopefully we'll get to see if Florian decides to get his big boy panties back on and come back to the restaurant and stop throwing a little tantrum like a little boy and just fess up, face the music, talk.
He'll come back, but he'll pout.
Probably.
Where's he gonna go? He probably doesn't even know what direction
True.
home is. Where is he gonna
I highly doubt he has the Uber app, although she did get him a new phone, so maybe she installed it. So he could just be back at the Airbnb pouting, but I guess we'll find out.
Yes, we will.
So that's it. That's it, guys. That's it for this for episode number 3, and next week will be number 4. And thank you guys for joining us. Please comment.
Thank you.
Like, subscribe. Make sure you don't miss anything, and let us know your thoughts on this episode. Give us your comments. Give us your feedback, and we will see you next week.
We want to hear it.
We want to hear it all.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Bye, YouTube. Thanks for joining us.